And as I press a button on our mic, it's going to pick up what he's saying and translate it for me.
You know, they have those headphones.
No, I know, that's my point.
Yeah.
I just said I'm going to get it.
Oh, you're going to get that.
Yeah.
You have to get the new phone then, too. Because it only works
The Pixel 2?
Yeah, it only works on the new one.
I'm going to get a Razer phone.
Oh, are you?
Sure.
We might be out of luck then. Can't use those headphones.
I'll get Bose ones.
There you go.
Good smoke into the window early. It does mean that you want to put pressure on the middle quite quickly, but in fact, no one going there at all. Typically, that's why you smoke catwalk. You get toward top box, and you get a further duration of smoke in the window to take connector. But where they're not taking connector at all, they'll head to B. That's irrelevant. In fact, that's all a ruse, as they want to get inside of the site. Cello holds corner down by the wall. That'll cover off both window and the entrance from Checkers. Amanuk will slow his position. There is a kit in the hands of Sean Gers, and Sean Gers is indeed inside of Checker. But it's Cat that they're waiting for.
Yeah, we can see Misfits trying to roll back in and retake this. The problem is, oh my goodness, Yell just leaping forward, but Shazam and Amanek striking back very quickly. 4 kills seemingly in seconds. Leaves only PKL alive to try and stop the defuse, but I don't think it's going to be possible. He's overwhelmed very quickly. Amanek's going to take him down, and Misfits will take control of the opening pistol.
Yeah, Sean with the kid as well was inside of the smoke. Pickle never had a position to see the bomb, so a really good setup and read from Misfits to get in quickly. A very nice retake slowing down to allow Catwalk to come into the equation. And Misfits start off as needed, I think. Pistols are going to be very, very important for Misfits. I think they're slightly outpowered inside of the gun rounds, but strategically they can pull this back so long as they're clean. And I have to say, shots from Shazam and Amanek were both impressive. They'll go to rifles, 2 UMPs, but rifles on Mirage, very important. A lot of angles that are rather open, shall we say. If you go SMGs, you limit yourself, I think, to best chances of going B. CT side, you don't have any of those options. You've got to cover all facets on the map, and from CT stairs, from inside of the window, from over toward B, covering from the window inside of Checkers, you need rifles, you need range. Cello, aggressive. They're going to try and force back the player inside of B. Amanek, who goes very low, but Sean Gers wins out 2 kills from Catwalk as they cross in pursuit of Amanek. Although they do get him in the end, Sean still stands true, and the bomb is on the ground.
They continue to spam into that now, just a matter of hunting down PKL, and they've got an easy second round on the board. And there you go, Sean even ends up with a nice little 4K there, so a good start for him and a good start for Misfits. They don't get upset by the second round eco, but obviously it's not going to be too big of an investment anyway, since they did manage to get the plant. Now is when we see the first real big buy coming out from LG. As they'll be coming into this one with AKs, Galils, and let's see Nexus buy, but yeah, he'll buy an AK as well, so very standard. But without that second plant, as we so often see, the utility is going to be a little bit limited here, so we're going to be relying on basically their entry power alone, a lot of very dry takes in order to win in this first initial buy round.
Shazam in window calling as he gets Sick aggressive. Oh no, Sick never even looked. Pickle immediately behind him with the early buy based on the bomb plant, was able to turn around with the AK and finds Amanek as well. That's a big oversight as they tried to get aggressive and somehow overlooked the position. Yell will take over Devedek as well, and it's immediately B side open, and I think opened and shut case on the round as well.
And there we go, quickly shutting it all down. It's Luminosity that take a dominant amount of control here on the third round, immediately finding their footing on the first gun round, and really just shutting down Misfits, taking them back down to where they were on cash. Things were looking good, obviously, with the pistol, but comes to a screeching halt on this first gun round. And to a certain degree, they really don't even have the cash flow to immediately rebuy into it. Amanek stuck down at 1,400. They're trying to decide that now how exactly they want to buy into it, but they just decide to essentially just upgrade pistols, and that'll be it. They'll save on this round besides that.
Bomb thrown upward onto the ledge, grabbed by Showtime. Boost for Sick in the corner. Now they need distraction. This boost on its own often is sought out and found, but with two other players in the site, if they can distract and make it look as if they're the only two in the site, maybe a chance for Sick. Catwalk approach as well, 3-2 split, with 3 actually coming up cat rather than inside of the safe passage of apartments. No contest inside of middle, and good start Deveduvik to find the first kill on PKL. Swings back for Cat, realizes they're a lot closer, and everyone goes down. In fact, with the wide side swing, they know Sick is in the corner. He doesn't stay, I guess, concealed long enough, shall we say. I don't think he would have had the angle to do so.
And now Sean, left alone here, is going to have to try and sneak up to the site, see if he can find any kind of impact at all. But Luminosity, once again, push their way through things here. Obviously taking a couple losses along the way, but still a very successful round overall. And Sean won't even really attempt to go back in to really retake it all. Looks like he's going to end up positioning himself outside of the market, trying to find an exit kill or so. Actually, no, we'll push all the way inside, and that's where Cello was waiting for him, but he ended up slightly off angle there. So Sean got a slight advantage on the initiation. He's now jumped across the window. He's got the AK. I think now, though, is going to be time for him to escape, but he has been kind of trapped inside the room. Oh, and he uses that nade as bait, and it works perfectly, too. Takes the attention away from Showtime, and then Sean's able to go in, knocks him out, and that buys his ticket outside of the site, so he's probably pretty happy about it. In fact, he made that little mini play happen right there. It obviously doesn't change the outcome of the round, but still allows him to escape with an AK.
AKs will do. They'll suffice. They'll be carried over. Misfits 2, Luminosity 2. Guns certainly available on the Luminosity side. 7,200 for Showtime, and an AWP already bought by Yell. Shazam already has his intended direction plotted to go over toward the A site off of the spawn. So don't look for an early mid contest op versus op. Yell has a great spawn to get to mid early. In fact, they won't even smoke toward... Okay, take it back. They do throw a late smoke. So he gets there before it blooms, however, which is more to the point. He had the peek toward the window. Should there have been aggressive play, or should there have been aggressive play from Luminosity? Shazam, for Misfits rather. Shazam is inside a connector, but misses out on the chance with the smoke stick, and Devudik will take over the position instead. Sean knows or has an inkling that they're inside of mid so quickly. In fact, heavy pressure inside of mid, to the point where they leave one in spawn to watch for a flank because there's no consideration of A otherwise.
Early on here, though, you can hear, might be able to hear the surprise in the background. Sean and Devo both getting hit as they take up this position inside of connector. Luminosity, though, still taking things very slowly. Besides getting PKL into window room, and he's basically just going to halt here. They haven't made any moves across the map, and I'm not sure if they realize he's taken up this position just yet. So he might be able to surprise massively onto the defensive setup when Luminosity finally get ready to go for this XQ, which they're running low on time to do it. So as soon as they get to the cusp of ramp and palace here, probably not going to waste too much more time. We should see an XQ pretty quickly after that.
Sean with the vent not blown out. Sits to wait towards CT spawn. Shazam, meanwhile, will cover off inside a smoke slide gap under it. He's able to spot the cross of Cello. Makes no mistake with the AWP. In fact, there you go. Just a whisper of a gap. Oh, goodness, the shoulder peek. I thought maybe more was on the store for him, but never really gets around the triple stack. Yell, good shot up close. Finds Devaduvic walking back in from connector, and although Sean takes down PKL, still a chance to hold in the post plant for Luminosity. With 3 players alive, Yell will continue to get aggressive. AWP wide side peek. He's not really cautious of the fact that stairs are occupied. If Sick goes up, pre-scoped in, he sits in the open with absolutely no vision. I'm a bit critical of that position from Yell, but Showtime still to hold. Gets it down to a 1 versus 2. He's got it down to a 1 versus 1. Omenik's forced off the bomb, but still has time with the kit.
Thankfully, Omenik gets that very clutch shot there to close it up. Otherwise, the things were getting a little bit dodgy. And again, it's messy for Misfits, though. They win the round, but look at how many players are left. Just Omenik. Thankfully, he trades that kill. Almost didn't actually get that. So, good attempt from the last member on Luminosity. And for Misfits, it really should have never gone that far. So now on the rebuy, they're basically going to have to spend all of their cash once again just to afford getting back into this round. Luminosity put into a somewhat similar situation that we can definitely see some downgrades on their end of things. So for either team, a victory on this round will mean breaking the opponent. For Misfits, it'll mean more, as this will mean their ability to hold on to the lead and progress even further into it now. 4-2 lead built up and potentially take it up to 5 or 6-2, depending on how bad the situation becomes for Luminosity.
PKL has to be cautious. We can see the push as Devo Duvek gets in position of A main. Get wrecked, Nekas. Jumps across. Shazam was ready, although Showtime gets taken down from Halls. That's Palace, to be clear. As this call was made, the fact that they tried to back to the site, they had no coverage in the doorway. They do get the trades favorable, and Sean Gares again seems to be Johnny on the spot.
Luminosity forcing their way back out, trying just a brute force up ramp scenario like that into the A bomb site. And for the most part, it's just a simple matter of trading out appropriately for Misfits there, which they do much better that time, and obviously in a much quicker fashion. We don't end up in a very tense clutch situation. But like I was saying before, that does end up meaning that Luminosity will be broken here. Should only need to save for 1 round, but this will be 1 round where they basically bring nothing to the table except for a couple of P250s, a Deagle, and a smoke on Cello. Spread out early on as well. Luminosity looks like they're going to be going for control on multiple parts of the map, specifically top mid. We can see them going for it. That's already been called out too. We're able to see him creeping back down. Actually, I'm not exactly sure if they realize that just yet. Yell's going to move all the way up towards connector. Gonna walk in. Sick will see that though from his position on opposite Firebox. Takes out Yell pretty quickly. And Sean might be next up to bat here.
Sean with MP9. To farm up the cash. Can't do so, but gets information sufficiently enough to relay it to Amana neck. And he takes down 3. I tried to say it 3 times. That's, sometimes I'm not that, I think I'm clever, but it doesn't really work.
Yeah, that one had to be explained a little bit.
It's fine, Blue.
It works out, though. I like it.
It only had to be explained to you. I'm sure everyone in chat knew what I was talking about. Type 1 in the chat if you knew what I was talking about. Type 2 in the chat if you still knew what I was talking about, and put Kappa just for the sake of it.
I'm going to get to that spray down there, taking up a very nice angle. Just to jump up on top to get that 3rd kill there. 5-2 becomes the scoreline. Luminosity obviously back into the bye here now, but they're not going to keep it very complex. They're actually going to go for what seems to be a very straightforward execute this time. Other players lining up here towards ramp, but Shazam took the risk this time on the Pals push and even had support from her teammates, so they're going to quickly move in and establish their own favor of control here while Luminosity gets prepped for their own execute out on the ramp.
Do you know what I love about Twitch chat? It just proves that humans are ants. They're just a bunch of minions that'll do anything they're told.
Why did they do it?
Because they all did that.
Oh.
Even though I'm sure none of them get the joke. PKL will take down Sean. I love you guys. Don't take it personal. That opens up space inside of A main. Shazam smoked off as well towards CT. The one saving grace in this is that they have control of Palace and they can re-peek from it, although Shazam, he goes down as well inside of the smoke. They have no idea that Sick is still in position. With 1 kill, he looks for rotations the other way. Cello, meanwhile, could take the round himself, although Amana turns around. Cello gets found out, and he immediately gets the kill. That opens things back up. Sick buys himself some time, but Nekez has gone aggressive to find it. Gets it down to a 1-on-1. Transfers down the ladder, and Nekez takes out Devaduvek as well.
A massive clutch coming out from Nekez there. Saves the round, and that's another huge slip-up from the CT side here. It's brought them back down to earth for sure, as now the game is going to remain close. And what otherwise would have been Misfits starting to run away with this lead on the CT side. They're brought back down to the ground, and Luminosity sit just 2 away from the tie. And Misfits, more specifically, sit, 1 round away if they lose this one from being broken again, and that would for sure allow Luminosity to tie things up and even take the lead.
Remarkable stuff from Amanek to be, or excuse me, from Nekez to be completely fair. One of those names in all capitals. Knew exactly where Sick was and gets aggressive. That's pretty good from Cello, to be fair, considering how much balls it takes, if you will, to just rush out of Palace without any consideration. Tracks down the obvious position. Showtime trades back on Sick, and thankfully so, because they actually lost 2 players for the price of 1 while we were preoccupied watching Cello. Okay, let's just reload and then get a kill.
Interrupt the reload in the middle of it, so still manages to hold that off. Yell attempts to surprise as well by working his way in from Laterum there, but doesn't really actually manage to catch anyone from the Misfits. Misfits are scared off anyway here. No, they're not really going to have much of a hope in this round, so they scatter back in hopes of saving. Sean specifically is going to move over here towards CT to at least pick up an M4, so he has something worth saving, and then he'll fall back. Join up with his teammate over in the B-bomb site who's already got the op tucked away safely, looking to carry that over into the next round since they know obviously that their money is not going to last them much longer here. Yell actually, though, very aggressively chasing down this kill. Sean trying to hold him back. He throws the smoke over top of his own Molotov. It's not going to stop Yell from pushing forward, but at the very least it does slow him down to the point where I don't believe he's going to be able to take either one of these players down. They'll both remain safe, and those guns will indeed be carried over into the next round, but really that's all they're going to be able to carry over. There is nowhere near enough cash to justify any kind of additional investment here for the rest of Misfits.
So no cash and Luminosity closing the gap. Well-contested game thus far. Sean Gares leads the way with 10 and 4. Tied in terms of kills, but with a substantial amount of more deaths. This is Showtime, 10 and 7. Again, they throw the late bloom smoke toward Catwalk, and this time they won't contest middle. It's actually a plan to try and contain and conceal as they head over toward B instead. 3 inside of the apartments. In fact, all 5 now. And Shazam, one of only 2 big weapons, and that being not pistols, 1 M4, 1 AWP, finds the opening pick, and he's going to transfer away from the site completely so as to give himself space. Unfortunately, his shot was slightly marred by the fact his vision was deterred. His teammate makes a better door than a window, as my mom always says, as I stand in front of her watching TV.
So once again, it's left Misfits in a position where really nothing can be done. They must back away, call for the save. And Luminosity continue to drudge forward here, now tying the game up again at 5-all. Neither team with a massive advantage anymore. Luminosity, though, certainly on the way to building up one of those. As Misfits, after this save, still not even sure if they're going to be able to justify a buy after this, but they might be able to just squeak one out. We'll see in a second here.
Shot by Amanek. Takes out Cello. Keeps the op up, but inconsequential in terms of, aside from keeping the op up, okay, which I think he would have done either way. Changes nothing in the outcome of the round. We go 5-5. Almanac, although with second AWP is his primary position, or second. That doesn't. That's a paradox. His primary position, secondary, all in one sentence doesn't work. But he gives it back. Is the point? He's not going to hold on to it. He gives it immediately to Shazam.
And ultimately, going back into another round here, Luminosity split their players up once more. Cello just going to be smoking things up in mid. 2 to the B Hall's probably going to end up diverging into underpass. And 2-1 here, Tom in 2. Sick getting hit by the flashbang, but still able to spam through it. Getting 1 kill. Now he's got to fall back very quickly, though, as they will look to revenge on that frag, but not going to happen. And now their best attempt to make up for this is just going to be to rush up Cat here. Hope to get quick B control. Almanac actually missed the door, so it leaves him out in the open, and that's going to let Nekaz take him down.
Good response and a much needed one as Cello finds Sick as well, but Sick should not have gotten away with 2 in that position. Second one, a repeat. Okay, fair enough, long angle, but nowhere to hide, very linear. The first one, he pre-fired that, and Pickle walked directly into it. It's almost like he was asking to die. Seen enough. As Devaduvek will start to work up. Oh, does he not see it? I was going to say his kneecap showed. He did, but couldn't react in time. Showtime had the jump on him with better crosshair placement, ready for that position. And that will spell the end of the round. So Luminosity not only take things back and make it a level footing to bring us to 5-5, they'll take the lead at 6-5. The op and M4 carried over once more for Misfits. And that started off with a 2-man advantage after Sick found the kills.
Showtime, though. Overextending his grasp just a little bit there and trying to hunt down some of these members of the Misfits. Remember, Luminosity don't have a massive amount of cash built up just yet here, so they are kind of risking their money a tad by going for these frags, but won't be successful in taking anyone down. Both of them still safe. And
that's, yeah, I mean, okay, fair enough. Seeing it there, he was actually still in kind of almost in midair as he landed at the bottom of the stairs, so I don't know if he could have actually backpedaled enough, but if not, not only did he get caught by the flash itself, he walked directly into that from Sick. Self-preservation pre-fire, we'll call that. As he was blinded up. Best defense at good offense.
Yep. And now we do see Luminosity taking quick control in mid. Whether Zan doesn't realize this or yet, though, he's yet to be seen. He doesn't get dinked. It's through paneling, though. So he only loses a quarter of his health because of it. And that will act as his one and only warning shot to evacuate. Get back into the site and let Luminosity take that full mid control. Now they just have to transition this onto an actual bomb site, and Luminosity once again well ahead of the curve here, taking that mid control, only using about 30 seconds in the round to do that.
Massive gap toward, if you want to call it that, just the depth of the smoke inside of window, a gap toward the vents in which PKL will wait to see if anyone wants to get curious. No cats. I'm not going to explain you that joke. Blue, I think you can figure that one out.
I think I kind of get it.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Okay.
Yeah, no cats. No cats peeking. No one's going to die.
Gotcha.
It's fine. I'll teach it to you in Sadocus 101, where my jokes make no sense. Nekaz does get Shazam back in transition, but Sean Gares therefore gets the information. Although he gets the kill, he goes to 4 HP. Almanac will hold inside of middle, and he'll get Sean down, but naturally he... Actually, excuse me, it was Cello they found. I was going to say it gets traded, but the kill feed it the other way around. So it was actually Yell coming in from Catwalk. It was misled by our camera angle slightly, but they still find the round. So 6-6, we tie things back up immediately. And the money is not great on either side, to be honest. So I would justify the force 100% if you're on the Luminosity side.
And it looks like that is what they're going to do here. PKL's,
especially with the reset potential.
PKL is going to end up being the odd man out. The reset's not huge. It really is just going to be the difference between like a 9-6 or something like that.
Yeah, but of course it still is the difference between a round, right? So that's the whole justification.
So it does give them that small little boost at the end if they can pull it off here. But as I was saying, PKL ends up being the odd man out here. Unfortunately, he cannot get really anything invested at all. Just ends up with a PT-50 armor buy. But assuming one of his teammates die, which is likely to happen, he can just pick up that gun. It's not too big of a loss here anyway. Luminosity once again go for quick mid control. A lot of smokes on Cat, as I think both sides end up tossing small in there. And now with this mid control, once again, Luminosity are just looking for a way to transition this onto his site. Same as before, this has been the one point where they've kind of been hit or miss in transitioning this into successful site takes. But in terms of actual mid control, they've been getting it almost every single round, and Misfits unfortunately just has not been able to resist it at all.
Yell and Nekaz up toward Catwalk. Sean Gares will Cover in the corner. Neka's, much like a fireman, will climb the ladder to get away from the flames. They actually usually climb them to go to the flames and get water on top of them, but it doesn't matter because Sean Gears is going to water the catwalk with some red stains spilled from PKL and Neka's. He'll put them in a nice, comfortable, a cushy 5 versus 3. 2. I can count. Count one down as Shazam falls. 4 versus 2. But still, Cello, unwilling to move, wants to try and get space given to him by way of Showtime's efforts to get the bomb in position. They'll have to go down, both coming from the same angle, and Omnic is not being sold anything. He'll stare it down. The only thing they don't know is where the second player is. So Sean's still watching. Cat doesn't matter. Turns around. Omnic gets the lineup.
And so that puts Misfits in the lead here, and that should completely break Luminosity after a force bio like that. Their money, yep, immediately down to the dumps. It is the 14th round here, so probably just going to see a full save and then a complete buyout on the 15th round. Assuming that full save does end up being the case, though, Misfits should be good to secure at least an 8-7 lead at the end of the half. And we'll just need to try and get that 9th round towards the end. And yep, it's pretty much what we see in terms of the buy from Luminosity here. Just a couple P250s, and that's going to be pretty much it. So it should be an easy walk in the park for Misfits this time around.
Shazam with corner help. Run boost gets the bait. I'm surprised he takes it. It's quite clear what the intentions are. What it does do is bypass Yell around the AWP and also gets him down middle quite quickly, but Deva Duvek got the call and is ready for it. And you could play a violin for Cello because a sad song needed as he goes down.
Yeah, it's knocked out in a very unfortunate way. And ultimately, it's left down to Nekaz in a 1v5. Has already been spotted by Sick. Looking for at least the 1 kill here. Wouldn't have made much of an impact anyway there. And the Misfits do close it out. So there's that 8th round for them. And now into the final round. We do go. Final round of the half, it is. Luminosity fully buying because the full save on the previous rounds. Look at AKs and everything like that. Nekaz can buy an op, but decides not to. Because that would mean one player would need to be on a glass cannon. So they'll end up with just 5 AKs and pretty lackluster utility actually in the final round here. It's mainly just smokes that they have to play off of here. A couple flashbangs and 1 HE grenade on Nekaz. They don't have any Molotovs or anything, but they haven't really been slow playing or anything like that either throughout the course of this round, so mollies aren't going to be super useful for them as it would be for a slower paced team.
Nekaz in middle. AK-47 trying to see above the smokes. Unfortunately, he's taken 1 too many steps to the left and got caught out by a few flames. He's down to 68. Omnic's got good position, does he not? Would you agree?
I would agree. Oh, Intel helps play off that position here. So should know, again, based off of this position, that there is going to be very minimal effort put into a direct A play. And that they can expect some action in mid again. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't tell them a whole lot, as that's been the exact same playstyle Luminosity has used for this entire half so far. So until they can see someone trying to push into one of the sites, they're still going to have to remain at a pretty much a completely neutral stance here across the map. But once again, they've managed to sneak a player inside of a window room, and I think Sick is aware of that. Keeping his eyes on it, waiting for the peak to eventually swing out. Luminosity will bring it down very low on the timer before we finally start to see it execute. And in they'll go. Sick immediately taking down 1 player, but the trade follows that up, and that's going to give Yell an easy ticket into the site, or at least it would seem so. Shazam taking the duel against him. It won't last very long, however. He's going to be stuck on the outside now. Almanac can go back in and gets 1, 2, and now 3 quick kills. Beautifully done by Almanac as he completely dominates the site hold, leaving only Yell alive to hold by jungle, and he won't be alive for very long either. Knocks out Sean, but that'll be the end of it as the Misfits claim a 9th to end the half.
Solid round from Almanac, and that might be... It's 9-6 at 8-7. I'm not convinced, again, with Misfits going back over to a T side, but that's huge. That gives them such a great fighting chance in the second half. Brilliant as well. Knew exactly what he had to do. Gets in time. Perfect transition between each of the players, and that's, I mean, that's pretty solid. It's because he wears the RB 7078.
What?
The glasses.
Oh.
16 and 6. He leads the way. Sean Gares on 14, Sick 14 as well. Great contribution all the way through. Map 3, winner moves on. Loser bows out of the major cycle now.
And for Luminosity, thinking at the start of this map that it might have been an easy journey, they Had a great beginning to this one, but the trades on rounds continue to go back and forth all the way to the end of the half where Misfits finally did take control. And now they have that 3-round advantage to start off this half. That could very easily dissipate, though, if Luminosity comes out on top of this pistol. So let's jump into it and see if Misfits can carry over on their T side and continue to build up this scoreline in their favor. So they're going to go for a very direct style of play on this pistol, pretty much exactly what we see from many teams here. Quick push up the ramp, and after clearing out CT, they'll have site control.
Yell plays passive with Nekas beside him, and CT spawn as Nekas knows they're getting closer, can hear them, and so too can Yell, and Yell's been baited in, but they check it. Shazam, second man by, and rather than rest inside of the site for post-plant, they'll attack the rotations head-on. Cello gets a little bit of access toward Connector as a result of that, because naturally they've bypassed that position. Good position to hold indeed. Omnic waiting for the flash. He had his back turned. The other's ready to fight. PKL does manage to get Shazam back, after which he found Showtime, and Cello realizes all elsewhere. They're all busy as Omnic able to switch to another gun.
Cello gonna try to sneak back in. Neither one can get the kill. The nice. Let's go. It's fight night, and it's Cello to win it, and now brings it down to a 1v1. The problem is, though, he was brought down to 2 HP, and he's basically run out of time to defuse the bomb without a kit. Omnic will just waste a little bit more time just to secure it, and he knocks out Cello.
Not a bad little duel. You gotta love pistol rounds when they get awkward. But either way, it was also important that the knife round had commenced because this bought enough time. There was nothing that Cello could do even at this point, 2 HP or otherwise. Round was over. And Misfits find 10-6 over Luminosity map 3 and have a fantastic opportunity to take 2 more rounds on the T side before in which guns will be brought out from Luminosity, and that gives them only 4 to go to the end, so they can inch it away at that point in time.
Misfits are going to take Curly top mid control here. Luminosity will basically establish 0 presence in mid, so they're going to let them have that early on in this round here. Nothing being resisted as far as window control, connector, all of it's going to be wide open for the taking. They might have to deal with some crossfire and crossing connector, but it looks like they got the appropriate smokes to watch out for that. Cello makes a bold move, just goes right through the smoke and connector, and that's going to easily give himself away to Shazam, who will get the opening kill in this round. Now it's going to fall to some of the bigger players like Showtime and PKL to hold things off, as they are the only 2 sitting in this site defending. There are more on the way. I'm not sure if they're going to arrive here in time, especially with Showtime going down without a trade. PKL just losing himself amongst that spray too. Yell finds at least 1 kill, but then quickly gets traded out a moment later.
Nekez tries to spawn out to Catwalk. Sean Gares deters the threat long enough to push Nekez back around, back close to connector, and that gives Devoduvac access to trace him down. They know exactly where he is, or at least was. Maybe not details of where he is now. Devo dead. Checks it and gets killed. Omnic avenges his teammate. It's now 11 for Misfits, and although they lose 2, not much controversy in terms of winning the round.
So this will put Luminosity onto their final eco round here before they can buy up again. And this should be what secures Misfits in a very strong position. This is looking a lot like the first map here now. Had a 9-6 half there. We had Misfits winning out the first 3 rounds and even taking the next 2 rounds after that. They managed to go up all the way to 14-6, and that's when Luminosity started a comeback that almost made it all the way. I think it ended 16-13 at the end of the map in the favor of Misfits. But they have to watch out for something similar to happen again here. They're going to establish a really good lead. They just have to make sure not to blow it away.
Combined with Devoduvac will make their way in. And Omnic is aggressive with the MAC-10. Trying to find information where it's available to get kills and farm up some cash as Sick and Shazam. Into the site. And this one even more convincing than the last, just PKL to find.
Okay.
Okay. Is that your casting contribution?
No, it's just Omnic was going a little crazy there picking on that player, so really spamming on the body. Needs to calm down a little bit.
I'll have a chat with him.
Yeah.
I'll let him know.
Seminar,
Well, someone's got to pay for those, and I'm not going to do that.
That's true,
so.
yeah, those are expensive. Have you ever thought about the
I don't really think, but carry on.
have you ever thought about the whole thing with the Freakazoid incident? You ever think like who else was in that seminar with him?
I actually was just thinking that a minute ago. I was
Like,
like,
what kind
imagine
of people
going
would be in
to-
that seminar with him?
Right, and it would be. I think you get a mix. It's not just bullies that are there running out. It's an anti-bully seminar, so it's probably like a support group in some sense as well, right? Maybe it's to make you feel bad if you're a bully by looking around the room, but that in itself
be
is
right,
kind
yeah.
of mental bullying. So I'm not sure. Maybe we'll contact Freak. Ask Ryan Abdur. Is that how I say his last name? Not sure. Devaduvek takes down Showtime. He's got to clutch this back. He's 2 kills already. But bomb dropped A main, spotted as well by Cello, who himself is looking for an ace. So an incredible round at the front of the site for him.
Good hold from Luminosity in general. Their Misfits think they can just keep brute forcing their way onto A, and obviously that does not play out. Devo will try his best to look for the clutch here, but this is still going to be very tough. Primarily due to a lack of intel, but he's going about this pretty smart right now. Just going to have to be very, very careful on peeking outside of Palace here. Looks for that opening kill. He's lost the scent of these Luminosity players. And unfortunately, he's wrapping in such a way that he's not going to be able to immediately detect them. But we'll continue the crawl anyway. Needs to move in and get the bomb in a second here. I think he's lost his immediate clutch potential, though. Especially with Luminosity posting up and having one player watch in either direction. So he'll creep up, and Cello's going to be waiting at this angle for him here. Take him down quite easily. And there we go. That is indeed going to be the ace from Cello as he shuts down the Misfits and puts them up to 7 rounds.
Forward stance, flash through. They were distracted trying to take down Nekas, and that's when Cello strikes through the smoke. I had the lineup, to be fair, before the smoke bloomed, and then Shazam, with the IQ equal to the amount of hair on that player model, decides to jump through and chase. That's bullying.
Let's see. Misfits actually end up, though, with a better buy on the rebuy here going into the 20th round simply because of their money. Luminosity still brought down to a very low count of players. You can see Neck is still on the ump at this point, so they're going to be a little bit limited, especially when it comes to utility, and they use quite a bit of it right at the beginning of this round. Still have quite a few Molotovs and one at the playoff of here that were mainly scavenged off of Misfits in the previous round here. But in terms of smokes, they've only got 2 left. They're going to want to be careful here, especially considering there's still 1 minute and 20 left in the round. And there goes one of those 2 remaining smokes right there into the apartments. It's not even that good, too. Devo can still see right past it.
Devo can see everything.
Does he?
This is my kingdom as far as the eye can see.
He's the Celestial.
Speaking of that, I'm against the Lion King remake.
Are you?
Come on. Why do we need it? It's just capital.
The cast looks pretty good,
It's
to be honest.
profiteering. Sure, the cast looks great, but come on, the other movie's still great in itself.
That's true.
The graphics were fine.
Just
The
think of it-
cartoon's great. Make the damn kids sit down and learn the classics.
Just think of it.
Total capitalism.
Just think of it as a reimagining, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Okay. No.
For a
The
new
other the other one's
generation.
fine. It's
For a new
modern enough.
generation.
You know, if the technology's not there to run the reels anymore, and you're like, oh, that's going to be forgotten, then you remake it. But it was. Come on.
Well, Misfits will move in, try to crunch on the A bomb site here. Moving in, Sean gets the first kill. Are they going to expect the second player over here on the ramp? And no, they don't come close to expecting that. Cello even whiffs on the spam a little bit there and is still able to take down Sean. So it brings it all over to Shazam to try and clutch, and he'll immediately be denied by PKL. Luminosity win the round, and now there's 4 behind, tying this up.
Definitely getting the gap closer again, Misfits, although we have lost one from the server, so we'll just be a second before we get back underway. They took advantage of the economy early. Amanek is back in, but they now run out of steam ever so slightly as Luminosity build their banks to the point of running on double op setup. Say it quietly. Don't want them to hear us. But a double op setup on the CT side.
Looks like the players are ready. Just had to make sure money and everything was okay, and it is good, so we should be unpaused here.
Hey, chat, type 1 if you agree that The Lion King does not need to be remade. Type 2 if you think that it should be. And type 3 if Blue should wear red tomorrow.
I don't think I have a red shirt with me.
Don't care. If you type 3, you're going to
But
have
then
to find one.
we do have that, there's like that store in the hotel, though.
There is, yep.
Yeah, that sells shirts. So.
Yep.
Hopefully they're not like really expensive.
We're getting a lot of 1s and 3s. Sorry, Blue.
That it shouldn't be remade, or what?
1 is that it should not be remade.
Okay.
2 is that it should. And 3 is that you need
I mean,
to wear red.
Eric Andre's in it, so I'm all for it.
So is Donald Glover, but still.
Yeah. Those 2 right there just make it worth it. I'd pay for the ticket just based off those 2.
Fair enough. I mean, it's like $8. It's not going to break the bank, is it?
Yeah. No, I have that subscription service. It's free for me now.
Oh,
So, yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Aren't you fancy?
I can see movies for free now.
Good golly. Good shot.
Cool little
Showtime.
service.
He's posted up. They get ready to go in. Arch smokes down, which means PKL transitions back inside of the site. Wants to play below the windows and not be limited. Rather than play retake, they want to take the fight on the entry. But the fight isn't really much of one in the fact that there's only pistols in the hands of Misfits, and they go down 2 men early. Managed to pull one back on Cello, but they haven't gotten much access. Shazam does recover an AK-47 at the very least.
Still no action beyond that. They really just get frozen in mid if they lose this many players. Still trying to find a way to bargain themselves into the site, but utility is completely gone with the exception of the one smoke still sitting on Devo. And they're basically going to have to choose. That was not their smoke. Actually, all right, Shazam takes the initiative. I was going to say they'd have to choose to either try and smoke off this position or take this player down, and Shazam just goes right for the kill. Don't use anybody utility. Amanek had a great opportunity, too, to take down Yell. In fact, he brings him down to 7 HP. Unfortunately, can't find that last bullet that's needed to eliminate him. That would have set them up so well to upset in this round, but no longer is that going to be the case. It's going to be tough as there's a huge crossfire set up against them here. They find the player at Tetris. They got to be careful, though, as the crossfire is going to move in very, very soon, and Nekaz will manage to pick up both of those kills. Luminosity continue to inch closer and closer to tying this game back up.
The AK nearly paying off, but they can't find the lineup. Shazam even tried to work off his teammate who just had the pistol, as you say, to dissect and discern the crossfire that was set. 9 rounds now, Luminosity, and they're looking more and more confident of pulling this back, and a chance now for Misfits to steal that momentum away ever so slightly. Money's not built. Even the kills that they got, I mean, you got to get kills. It emphasizes the importance of all kills because even though they've won now 3 rounds in a row, the fact that they brought that down to a reasonable situation toward the end of the last round means that they can still be broken. So a very important round for both sides. Misfits especially, who I think are going to rely on every single round they can get at this point. I favor Luminosity to pick up more rounds this half.
Misfits get themselves into the back halls here and now. Again, basically find themselves kind of frozen here. Luminosity don't continue the pace and do anything aggressive here. They just hold up in standard positions. Very heavy presence at mid, though, so it's actually going to be quite dangerous now because it looks like we're seeing a shift in Misfits' positions to try and go for some kind of mid control, including, the window smoke's going to be a dead giveaway that they move out here. Thankfully, they appropriately smoke off those connectors, so they're not going to have to immediately fight for that, but they've got to be careful on the cross. Good smoke, or good flashbang, actually, completely blinds Cello. They're making a much better work at this than I would have expected. Sick moves right in. They get those 2 entry kills right off the bat. Cello will finally catch a trade, but it's a little bit too late for that now, as the B site is pretty much gone under their control.
I think Cello doubted himself with the smoke. If he had sprayed in from connector, he may have lined up too, especially low HP on Sick. That kill already could have come in. PKL sprays in. He certainly didn't doubt it, and tags Almanac down to just 10 HP. Still, though, the man advantage lies with Misfits in the site. Smokes go down. Cello wants the entrance. That'll isolate the bench as he wants in, but does not isolate Sean Gares. And Sean Gares finds both PKL and Cello.
Now it's all on Nekaz here. He's going to try to sneak himself back in. A lot of attention being drawn over there towards Market, but Nekaz has managed to lurk himself all the way up to the edge of this smoke here now. He's running very low on time, however, so he needs to start finding kills quickly. There's the first pickup. He's got a molly to try and toss him into apartments to stop them from immediately interrupting this. He taps it first, but didn't realize that Sick had flanked all the way around him, so Misfits successfully trade out that round. And where is it going to leave Luminosity money-wise? Not in a great spot. There's 6K on one player, 4K on another, but besides that, they all have 3,000 or less, which is not going to be enough for a full buy.
Extremely, extremely important round for Misfits as well, and they need to make sure they treat this anti-eco with the respect it deserves because they need to build the bank as well. 13-9, it seems like enough on the scoreboard. It's not even close. CT side as well. You lose one, you break the bank, you get within 2 rounds of each other. You get this back quite quickly to Luminosity's favor, and they've got 58-50 on Nekaz, which is why indeed this was such a tough call in the timeout. 40-50 for Yell. They can almost force buy in SMGs, try and break them down in turn, but in doing so, limit their economy for a round further. And I'm pleased to see them on pistols for that reason. They can afford to concede 14. They can't afford to concede 15.
Yeah, so they're going to let this round go away and hope that maybe they can at least do some decent damage to keep the Misfits' money low and then win the next gun round to try and break them. I think that'll be the primary goal here. And as a result of that, I think they're going to try to read into Misfits a little bit here. Heavier presence towards mid again and the B site. Almanac will do his best to sell that by quickly pushing over here and smoking it back off, but terms of actually pushing into the site, we're not going to see that anytime soon here. It's once again very, very slow in the opener for Misfits as they post up at essentially every conceivable angle that the Ts could go towards here to make sure that these CTs don't push in and try to flank them early on.
Dominic. Flash down. Going to try and wait for any aggression from the Pistols. Saw issues in teams running this setup yesterday, not considering the underpass, just as Almanac goes by. It's exactly when the flank comes in. This is Precarious. And that he could be found and taken down quickly. With an AK, here's it turns around. We're not quite seeing that on our spectator feed, but just above, Almanac nearly was found by Cello. That could have swayed the round, and an AK was picked up. Thankfully, they found all the kills required on entry through the arches, and a rather flawless round to build the economy for Misfits. 14 surely on the board. Luminosity will buy up guns in the next round to try and counterattack and bring this to double digits on their behalf.
Yeah, we're going to try to lurk in here and see if we can get at least one more pickup. Let's tag Sean down low. You got to be careful about this, Misfits. You guys do not have the money to chase down a Deagle player. It's not necessarily a huge asset if you eliminate him, but finally they do get the job done, so they get a little bit of extra cash from that. And Misfits sit now just 2 rounds away from a series victory, which will also eliminate Luminosity and send the Misfits onwards into the playoff bracket against Team Liquid tomorrow.
It would complete our bracket as well. Our 4th team to make it through. Liquid CLG already in there. So I think those are the 2 favorites probably coming into this event. Cello gets aggressive. PKL will back off as well, though, and this is a very do-or-die moment for Luminosity buying in on 14. Lose this, go to 15, there won't be any money left. The game on the line, essentially. Complexity, by the way, the other team that joined in from yesterday's group, and they did so in a nail-biter with NRG.
Yeah, that came down to the wire at the very end of it, all the way to the edge of the 3rd map, where they did end up coming out on top, and that was also a rematch from earlier on in the group. This matchup here, though, is a fresh one.
Sick already inside of middle with Shazam going to op over connector and give some vision inside of the A site. Ticket booth cleared. And Sick and Sean Gares will start to work inside. Sick, good find on yellow. That'll open things up. Nekus is forced back inside. The site goes to Shadow, spray down. Sean wins the exchange. And the site open because no one immediately inside of CT, but I say that and then all of a sudden I realize Cello is still toward A main. Good double spray, pulls it back to a 3 versus 3, and Sean tagged on 10. It's fairly even footing on the way back through.
PKL still looking for his route back in, but he's not going to push directly into the site. That will let Sean push forward, but he loses the initial battle versus Cello. Cello takes him down, and that for the most part is going to open the site wide open here for the CTs to swing back in, get onto the bomb. You'll note, however, that 2 of these CTs are working with ops, but it's the same for Shazam here. He's going to try to lurk back up, misses the head, and now he's been dinked down low. He's also the last man standing here, picks up the first kill, needs to kill the diffuser. Actually, no, he jumps off the bomb, and that's going to let Shazam fall back here more, waste more time. Showtime realizes that he's not going to be able to defuse it in time, so he backs up, and that will give the clutch to Shazam. In a 1v3 fashion, Misfits will go up 15-9.
What a god, Shazam. Unreal. Doesn't hit the last shot, but doesn't need to. Showtime forced off the bomb, and I think even if he held it, I think there was only about a second left on the defuse if Shazam gets a repeak on the AWP, and no doubt he would hit that shot, knowing that he was already on it. 15 rounds, Misfit breaks the bank as a result of it in a 1v3 with an AWP, and my god, Cello so close up. Again, they go aggressive A main, and it gets overlooked. Nearly steals the round back on his own with 3 kills. That's sick stuff from Shazam, though. Mirage, by the way, if you go back to the history, Denial versus, I think it was Complexity, or maybe it was Cloud9. I think it was Cloud9 before he joined. That was one of the sickest games he ever had in his career. This map seems to deliver for Shazam.
Absolutely, and now they have the chance to secure it. Look at Luminosity's buy. It's terrible. They don't have any significant investment going across the board at all. The best thing they have is PKO with an ump. Everyone else is working with just CZs, Molotovs, flashbangs, and smokes spread across the team. At least they have some utility to play off of. But Misfits are very much getting ready for what could be the final execute that pushes them forward into the playoff bracket here. Utility going to be tossed onto the site, and in they go. They won't check for showtime, though, so he starts it off with 1 kill. Quickly, though, it is traded back, and now, after some delay, they'll dive back inside. PKL holding, he drops the bomb, and now they're delaying inside. It's going to get a little bit dangerous. It has bought time for the rotates. It seems that that time was not enough. Yell's just barely going to be jumping back outside here. Does a little bit of damage. He's got the position behind the site. Shazam knocks him out, though, and the last two, they're stuck in market, and they don't have a safe way to get out here.
Sean's got the cover from the wall, but misses shots. Cello finds it, but they can trade it. They get the information. And Omnic knows Nekez is in the site, still on CZ, not able to pick up a gun. As Yell couldn't find anything, Nekez tries to do better, but Omnic finds the kill, and Misfits, after not making the event directly, have made it through to the playoffs, taking down the team that I actually thought had the best chance in this particular series. And my goodness, you have to favor Shazam in that 1 versus 3, and getting them this far. Economy certainly a factor, but 16-9 in the end. That's a misleading scoreline. I think this game was closer and was about to get broken open at any moment.
Absolutely. It could have gone all the way. It could have gone the full distance even into OT, as we were seeing in quite a few of the other maps too. The second map, obviously a bit of a bump in the road there for the guys on Misfits, but the first map playing into a very similar fashion there. But they did come out on top near the end of it, so the Misfits will move on into the playoff bracket, which is going to be a new double elimination bracket. And unfortunately for Luminosity, their journey to the major will end shortly, and it will end here.
So that completes it. Liquid, CLG, Misfits, Complexity. CLG and Liquid obviously have both been in majors before as rosters in some cases. Not the full roster, obviously the last time they were there was with Pimp, but Liquid's been with most of their core players in a major before. In fact, in the legendary status before. CLG's been legendary status, but that was a long time ago at the MLG major and have been there before. But then Complexity, a historic lineup that's been rebuilding many times over, and then you got Shazam, and you have Sean Gares, who have been there many times with Cloud9, making it through into the playoffs. So really good teams, I think, from North America, but all 4 North American. That's the first time that's happened in a minor for a long time, because last time, just as every time, Luminosity, or excuse me, Immortals has to qualify through this. They've always been a part of this. They're not here after going into a final and then not qualifying, bizarrely. Anyone who knows the story knows it. I won't go into detail. And then I think Luminosity was going to fly the Brazilian flag at this event. They're gone, and it's Misfits that impress.
Yeah, so that really only leaves, that only leaves SK and then the new team that we're going to see formed up with FNX and those guys, as far as the rumors are concerned at this point, to carry the flag for Brazil at that event. That's another team that a lot of people thought that maybe was going to be the 3rd team to be present, maybe not the major, but at least at the qualifier. This time, no, it's still going to have to be those 2 core rosters that will have to represent that entire region once again here, and it becomes an all North American bracket here for the playoffs, which are going to begin tomorrow. As we said before, though, it is a new bracket. It's essentially a new GSL group that we're going to be forming here to decide not only our grand finalists here at the minor, but also the top 2 teams that will get to move on and move forward into the major qualifier in January.
And a tough start of the day for Misfits ending now. They've got some time. We ended pretty early, actually, here in Toronto, Eastern time zone. We do, by the way, have a time zone change this weekend, but that's not until tomorrow night, but keep that in mind. But Liquid go against Misfits. That's a tough battle, I think. Liquid in this, I think, are the heavy favorites, obviously, in this situation by being rather heartbroken and very disappointed that they didn't make the major last time. I think they were more than eligible to be at that major. Unfortunately, it's just the depth of teams when you get to the qualifiers. So they come into this looking probably the best they've looked in a long time, arguably the best North American team. And as such, I think Misfits are going to have a very difficult opening match tomorrow. Not maps, plural. Yeah. Best of 3.
And Liquid have already shown really strong presence at this event too. The 2 games that they have had to play in Group A yesterday, they were both 16-5s. They no problem just completely crushed both of their opponents. So they're still going to be feeling very confident about their matchups here as well. We'll have no worries going into it. It's definitely going to have to be Misfits that will very much have to prove themselves in that series if they want to have any chance of an upset at all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're going to have to put, everything on the line today. Every situation where in which they could have lost momentum today, or economy was broken, or they made mistakes, those will get ripped apart by Liquid. CLG Complexity could be interesting as well, but I think CLG is the favorite in that. Complexity's been surprising, however, and they do have some skill that can upset.
I think that some people may peg that match as as a pretty heavy favorite for CLG, but I wouldn't necessarily say so. I'd say it's more like 60-40, 70-30, something like that. So I'd say there actually is a pretty good chance, in my opinion, that Complexity might be able to come out on top of that in a best of 3. So we're really just going to have to wait and see, and more so see how well prepared Complexity is to take them on in that matchup.
Well, that said, our road to Boston, we've got to take a little pit stop, detour, fill up on gas, stop at the hotel. It's on the side of the road. We'll take a break. America's Minor comes back tomorrow. We join the playoffs, the 4 teams battling for the 2 spots in the qualifier and also glory at the minor itself. We'll see you then.